What's up guys, and welcome back to another G35 video. So in today's video we're going to be installing some 370Z parts on the G35. We're going to be installing some 370Z axles and wheel bearings on the G35 today. The main reason why we're doing this is because my rear passenger wheel bearing is actually messed up, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. So if you guys didn't know, the G35 wheel bearings actually come in two pieces, so you have to press on one piece onto the other. So since it is a two-piece design, the downside is that you do have to buy two pieces. If they're that messed up, you have to go ahead and buy both of them. With the 370Z wheel bearings, they're actually one piece, so it makes it a lot more convenient for the future. If you need to replace them, you just buy one piece, and it's a lot cheaper to buy one piece than buying the two pieces for a G35. So by doing this, not only do you save money, but you also get stronger parts. So you get stronger wheel bearings, and you also get stronger axles because of that. So here are the 370Z axles and wheel bearings. It's actually from a Nismo, from a 2019 Nismo with 18,000 miles. So these wheel bearing and axles are fine. And of course, this is a two-piece, and these are a one-piece design. So again, when you're replacing these, it's a lot cheaper to replace them. I also need to get new hardware because the axles, the flange is actually thicker than the G35 one. So I need to get some longer hardware so I can be able to put this into the car. So here are some of the bolts that we're going to be using. So this is exactly the bolt you're going to need so you can go ahead and put it onto the G35. So you're going to need 12 of these, 6 for each axle. Obviously you want to get some lock washers, so these are 3 packs, so you need 12 of these as well. And then lastly, you're going to need some nuts so that you can go ahead and tighten everything down, and you'll be able to install it on your G35 or 350Z. Now Z1 Motorsports actually sells a kit that includes the axles and the wheel bearings exactly the same way. The only downside is that they are almost $500, which is almost double the price of what I paid for these. For the price that I got these for, it was way better to just get these that are used but still have less miles than the one I have. So I definitely want to give a shout out to the parts plug right here. Go ahead and follow him. Check out all his parts that he's selling. He always gets a bunch of 370Z Nismos. So if you guys want to get the differential that I installed as well, you guys can go ahead and part out and get it for a good price. Definitely hit him up. Real nice guy. He's going to hook you up with the parts you need. So go ahead and follow him, and thank you to him for giving me the parts. So this is the side that the wheel bearing ended up messing up. So we're going to go ahead and take off 32mm nut. A very common thing that I've been reading up on is that the axle nut actually starts backing out by itself. So when I go ahead and install the new one, I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of thread locker to make sure that it doesn't come out, and then we'll be good from there. So once you take off the nut, we're going to go ahead and tackle the nuts that are on the differential holding the axle and differential together. Once you take those off, we should be able to take out the axle, and then from there we'll be able to get the wheel bearing off. But before that, we'll have to take off the rotor and the caliper off.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Give me one more. One more. How long? Fuck, I got my eye.
You good?
Yeah, fine. Just rust. The axle will be in the way, so remove the axle first, and then you can go ahead and remove these 4 bolts. And once you remove these 4 bolts, the wheel bearings should come out.
Yeah, keep going. It's almost out.
There we go. So I am going to be putting some thread locker on the splines and on the threads, just because I've heard a lot of axle clicks being a problem. So thread locker has been the solution for that because it dries up instead of grease just coming off eventually with rain. The axle bolts are actually very common for backing out as well. So I'm going to be covering it with thread locker just so it doesn't move. And then I'm also going to be putting a bunch of thread locker inside of the splines in here as well. So we'll have everything good to go, and then we'll be able to torque everything to spec. You definitely want to torque these down before you put the axle back in, because you won't be able to reach 69 foot-pounds on all these before you put in the axle, and you'll be good to go. The higher the socks, the downer the fool. Why are you talking? Talk. I'm gonna add subtitles of you saying some random stuff. So like I said, I ended up putting some blue thread locker on the splines so that you don't get that axle click that is very, very common on G35s, 350Zs, G37s, and 370Zs. The fix that I've seen online and all throughout the forums is just putting thread locker. Since it does dry up, it ends up not washing away like grease does over time. Another thing to note, guys, is that the flanges on the 370Z axles are a lot thicker than the ones on the G35. So here is the OEM one, and this is the one that I ended up picking up. So the length you're looking for is a 35mm. So go ahead and pick some up if you're going to be doing this swap. Make sure you get long enough bolts so that you can actually bolt it up properly. But other than that, everything's bolt on. This is the only thing you'll actually have to outsource. G35 is all done. So something to keep note of is the axle nut. Since there's two different specs, one for the G35 and one for the 370Z. The 370Z I believe is 70 to 77 foot-pounds, so keep that in mind. And then the G35 axle nut specs are I think like 190, so it's a big difference. Remember, you are using 370Z parts, so make sure you're torquing them to the 370Z spec. 77 is going to be the torque spec on these. And I actually took it around the block right now, and it's a huge difference. It's extremely quiet. I was getting some whine from the wheel bearings because they were shot, so now it's completely smooth and completely quiet. I hear nothing anymore, so keep that in mind in case you are getting a bit of noise. But other than that, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. Give it a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new around here. We got plenty of G35 content on this channel. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Hi there, my name is Matt Hill and I am the voice of Ed, and I just wanted you to subscribe to Joe Vazquez before the cankers take my buttered toast. Okay, have a great day.